Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving straight into the ancient, highly symbolic text of Revelation chapter 2. You can really think of this text as a sort of cosmic performance review for 4 distinct communities located in ancient Asia Minor. It's an intense, utterly fascinating piece of literature filled with vivid imagery and some pretty stern warnings, and we're going to unpack all of it together.
Here is what we're going to cover today. 1. The rubric. 2. Ephesus, the lost spark. 3. Smyrna, wealth in affliction. 4. Pergamum, danger of compromise. 5. Thyatira, the corrupt prophet. And 6. Rewards for the victorious.
Section 1. The rubric, a formula for judgment.
Okay, so before we look at the individual cities, you have to understand the fascinating pattern used to evaluate them. Every single message strictly follows this 4-step rubric. Step 1 kicks off with a dramatic cosmic title for the speaker. Then, Step 2 covers commendations, basically what the community is doing right. Step 3 hits them with the critiques, showing exactly where they're failing. And finally, Step 4 wraps it up with a promised reward, which is this conditional cosmic promise for those who manage to overcome their specific challenges. So it's a very thorough evaluation from start to finish.
Section 2. Ephesus, the lost spark.
Our first stop on this ancient map is Ephesus. Right off the bat, the speaker introduces himself with some truly powerful imagery. These are the words of him who holds the 7 stars in his right hand and walks among the 7 golden lampstands. Now, that establishes an undeniable cosmic authority right away. It sets this incredibly weighty, watchful tone for the evaluation. The speaker is walking right among them, observing absolutely everything they do.
And here's where the tragic irony of the Ephesian community really stands out. They get high marks for their rigorous boundaries. We're talking hard work, perseverance, and successfully rejecting false apostles and the corrupt practices of the Nicolaitans. But despite all those strong defenses, they've forsaken the love they had at first. The text issues a really stern warning here. If they don't repent and get back to those foundational early deeds of love, the speaker will literally come and remove their lampstand from its place. It's a pretty stark reminder that all that hard work doesn't mean much if the underlying love is just gone.
Section 3. Smyrna, wealth in affliction.
Now we move to a group facing immense external pressure, and they are a fascinating exception to our rubric. The speaker introduces himself as him who is the first and the last, who died and came to life again. For a community facing severe persecution and the literal physical threat of death, this introduction immediately anchors the whole message in themes of ultimate survival and eternity. It is exactly the reassurance this terrified group needs to hear.
What's wild is how the text completely flips their reality upside down. Physically, they're enduring severe afflictions, crushing poverty, and vicious slander from a group the text actually identifies as a synagogue of Satan. But from the divine perspective, they are declared spiritually rich. Instead of ultimate defeat, they're promised a victor's crown. And notice something incredible here. In this entire cosmic performance review, Smyrna receives absolutely zero critique because of their incredible endurance through suffering.
But there is a very specific warning attached to this message. The text states the devil is going to throw some of them in prison to test them for a period of exactly 10 days. Now, the number 10 here suggests a complete, bounded, finite period of testing. It's not going to last forever. The urge from the speaker is just to remain faithful through this ordeal, even to the point of death, with the ultimate promise of life as their reward.
Section 4. Pergamum, danger of compromise.
We're transitioning now to a city described pretty dramatically as the place where Satan actually lives and has his throne. Because of that, the imagery shifts sharply. The speaker is now identified as him who has the sharp, double-edged sword. This is definitely not comforting imagery. It's signaling that a severe, cutting judgment is on its way, specifically for those who are compromising the community from within.
You see, this is a community that's incredibly strong on the outside, but they are crumbling on the inside. They are highly commended for their external courage. They remain true to the name and refuse to renounce their faith, even in the darkest days when Antipas, a faithful witness, was martyred right there in their own city. However, their internal failure is massive. They're tolerating destructive cultural compromises, specifically holding to the teachings of Balaam and the Nicolaitans. So they're surviving external terror, but they're basically poisoning themselves from the inside out.
To really understand this critique, we have to unpack this teaching of Balaam. This points back to an ancient narrative where Balaam taught a king named Balak exactly how to entice the Israelites to sin, specifically by tricking them into eating food sacrificed to idols and committing sexual immorality.
So in the context of Pergamum, Balaam represents any internal influence or teacher that tricks the community into blending their faith with forbidden, destructive local customs. The speaker warns them to repent, or else that sharp, double-edged sword is going to be used to fight against them.
Section 5. Thyatira, the corrupt prophet. This is a community showing immense growth, but they are harboring a profoundly dangerous internal threat. And the title here? It is intense. These are the words of the Son of God, whose eyes are like blazing fire and whose feet are like burnished bronze. It's this poetic assertion of piercing sight and unyielding, heavy judgment directed specifically at those who are actively corrupting the group from within.
Thyatira is a deeply complex community. Their commendations are absolutely stellar. They're praised for their deeds, their love, their faith, their service, and their perseverance. The text even notes they are doing more now than they did at first. They are on an incredible upward trajectory, but they fail completely on one major issue. They are tolerating a woman the text symbolically calls Jezebel, who claims to be a prophet, and through her teaching, she is actively misleading the servants of this community into sexual immorality and eating food sacrificed to idols.
And because she is unwilling to repent, the text issues a grim, severe warning. She'll be cast on a bed of suffering. And her followers, the ones who learn what the text sarcastically calls Satan's so-called deep secrets, are going to suffer intensely. The speaker states with terrifying clarity, "I am he who searches hearts and minds, and I will repay each of you according to your deeds." It really emphasizes a perfectly impartial judgment. You can't hide from eyes of blazing fire. The judgment is based purely on their actions and their stubborn refusal to turn away from corruption.
Section 6. Rewards for the victorious.
Finally, let's zoom out and synthesize the incredible rewards promised across all 4 of these letters to those who actually endure to the end. Just look at the sheer magnitude and variety of these deeply symbolic prizes. We see the right to eat from the tree of life, which symbolizes restored access to God's paradise. There's the promise of remaining entirely unhurt by the second death. They get hidden manna for sustenance and a white stone inscribed with a secret new name. On top of that, they're promised authority over the nations, ruling them with an iron scepter. And finally, the ultimate gift of the morning star. These all represent ultimate vindication and cosmic authority for those who successfully pass their tests.
We end on this recurring provocative command found in every single message. Whoever has ears, let them hear. And it leaves us with a pretty compelling question, doesn't it? How do the ancient struggles of burnout in Ephesus, the intense pressure in Smyrna, and the moral compromise in Pergamum and Thyatira mirror our own modern battles? It really makes you wonder how the timeless themes of these ancient performance reviews still resonate in human communities today. Thanks for joining this explainer. Keep exploring and keep listening.